what's happening to YouTube? The Los Angeles Clippers played the New York Knicks, and it was a really irregular hour. It started at, I believe, literally 10 a.m. Pacific time. So that was a pretty funky schedule for the Clippers, in my personal opinion, but it is what it is. But the Clippers unfortunately fell pretty short against the New York Knicks. It was a nice and competitive game. Our players were, you know, making shots, but at the same time, there were a lot of players that on the Clippers that was pretty much off. The New York Knicks, they're pretty impressive in my opinion because I really love the New York Knicks defense, and I'm pretty impressed with their ball movement in my opinion as well too. I mean, it's not like the Clippers didn't have ball movement, like both sides uh, had pretty good ball movement in my opinion. It's just the Knicks showed to be, it was just their day. And then shout out to the Knicks. They really did what they gotta do. Julius Randle, he balled out, made some nice threes, um, had some really good dunks, and pretty much being a pretty good big man. Despite people saying Julius Randle struggled or something, I have not seen. I don't really know exactly, but in my opinion, Randle played pretty good today. Also, big shout out to Nerlens Noel. He may have not, showed too much in his stat sheet, but I'm pretty impressed with his mobility as a big man. That's one thing that I would love the Clippers to have, a nice, really agile big man. But again, it's not like our bigs are bad. But first, I'm just talking about the New York Knicks right now. But I'll head on to the Clippers pretty soon. And first, and we get to see Cam Reddish play, but he didn't really do too much because he just got a really small amount of playing time. Only got like 5 minutes. Assume just because it was more like his first his first day as a Knick, so of course he probably wouldn't get much minutes. Just want to get a little taste of a run. Pretty much like the Knicks played pretty good in my opinion as a whole. Quickly was pretty solid. Um, RJ Barrett was pretty good for the Knicks too. Made some threes, brought the energy. Pretty much, pretty much did like being a pretty good young talent. Now let's get on to the Los Angeles Clippers. Um, first of all, shout out to Reggie Jackson. He was a star player once again for the Los Angeles Clippers, being the lead scorer, making a lot of really good plays, making a lot of shots, being a walking bucket. He had 26 points. He was definitely splashing from the threes. He, had some nice floaters, and he's being the Reggie Jackson that you know Clipper Nation would pretty much need through down the line. And Reggie Jackson, he's been showing that, and when it's crunch time, Reggie Jackson, he balls out. Shout out to Reggie Vision. Shout out to Mr. June. Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard, this game, he showed out too. He was he was splashing some threes. Um, he got, he even got like a good amount of rebounds too. I believe 5 rebounds, that's pretty impressive for a guy like Luke Kennard, because Luke Kennard usually he'll be like strictly a shooter, but this time he actually contributed on the other parts of the ends. I believe he got 3 or 4 assists from what I've seen from a little bit of the box scores, and pretty much like yeah, he was he was pretty much also keeping us in the game for 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 this one. So again, big props to Luke Kennard. I'm really glad Luke Kennard is getting back to rhythm. And Nick Batum, he kind of shot like on a low efficiency on today, but you could tell his presence was always there. He did make like 2 threes, I believe. I forgot how much exactly he scored, but he was always there for the defense. Ivica Zubac, another big props to him too. Like my man was literally was is playing like a really good traditional big. He had a pretty good double double, had 17 points, and he also got 14 rebounds, which the Clippers could always use. And Zubac, That's a really good thing that we want Zubac to do. Just be a really good big man, make some shots, and get the rebounds. And it's Zubac defense, it's actually getting more solid because I noticed like throughout the past 3 weeks, past maybe 2 weeks, let's just say that people are scoring on Zubac a little bit less often. Often, of course, sometimes more agile players would kind of score on Zubac, but again, he did pretty good in this game, and I'm pretty impressed. Let's see. Brandon Boston. Look, Brandon Boston was balling. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, he was swishing some threes. He literally pretty much had a nice, beautiful, acrobatic reverse layups. And also, just being Brandon Boston is certified killer on the Clippers. That he needs to be Clipper for life. Let's just say that he needs to be Clipper for life. And pretty much, now let's go on to players who are pretty much who was off today. Like who pretty much it was definitely not their day. So let's first off start with Marcus Morris Sr. Marcus Morris Sr. He pretty much was really off. Like for the field goal percentage, he shot a whopping 0%. He went 0 for 9, which is, I mean, look, he really did what he could though. Like he wasn't really, I don't know. Some of y'all may say he was chucking, but from what I kind of seen, like he was, trying to score inside. It literally couldn't fall in. Like every time when Morris shot it, it literally like just kept the ball just kept rolling out. So it was definitely a big hiccup for Morris Senior, and it was unfortunate because I know for a fact if Morris Senior was um, just even like made half of his shots, we definitely would be beating the New York. We would definitely beat the New York Knicks. But I guess you can't always, have a perfect night every single time. And then Eric Bledsoe, he also did not, he was not at his best either. He pretty much had zero field goal percentage. He only had like a whopping 2 points. Um, he did turn the ball over a decent amount of times, so which resulted him to get limited minutes, which is again that was the kind of like the little bit of the issues of um, the Clippers today. We could also, try to work on, like not leaving one of the players open because that's sometimes that's kind of like a little bit of issues because one time when Evan Fournier just pretty much got a wide open shot and just drilled it, we could always, try to work on, not leaving anybody open. But I mean, it was not like we played bad defense. If anything, we played pretty good defense today. But like I said, it was just because um like the Knicks, it just had a way better day. And it's not like the Knicks are a bad team. The Knicks, if anything, they're a pretty good team. I gotta respect how the Knicks came from like a really like a joke, like when people just simply clown the Knicks. Now the Knicks are actually like a legit team. So gotta give them let's just say a decent amount of props to say the least. And then and Tyronn Lue, in my opinion, like um, he did make one big error in my opinion, and it's just he sat out Brandon Boston in the last 3 minutes. Like when Brandon Boston was in the game, he was literally being, our firepower. He was getting all the buckets for us, and then he sat him out for the last 3 minutes. Like I felt like he definitely should have been on the floor for the last 3 minutes rather than Marcus Morris because Brandon Boston was getting the buckets. He was making all types of shots. I see no flaw in Brandon Boston Jr. in my opinion. Like the only thing, like if I'm literally gonna try to nitpick him, is just maybe his efficiency. But he shot really efficient today, in my opinion. I mean, I shouldn't even say my opinion. Like it was obvious he shot really efficient because Brandon Boston does not really have a true big weakness. Like he's a good defender. He's capable of rebounding. He showed some ability to like a little flashes of playmaking. Like I just know for a fact if Brandon Boston played like 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 okay like Like one thing that Tyronn Lue could definitely try to improve on, if like with his rotations, is definitely like try to start getting Brandon Boston into play during crunch time, because Brandon Boston, he's more than capable of getting all the buckets and being our firepower. Because Brandon Boston, as of right now, the players who are active, Brandon Boston is easily like the best shot creator on the Clippers team right now. And heck, personally, I'll say he's the best Clipper player right now that is playing right now. But that's just my biased opinion. But like I said, he's our firepower, and one of the Clippers' big flaws is they don't really have much, like let's just say like much, necessary like firepower or really good shot creators that are like pretty premier. I mean, of course you have Reggie Jackson, but that's pretty much it. Luke Kennard is more like a spot up shooter. I mean, he is getting better, and got to give Luke fat props, but Tyronn Luke could always try to find ways to get other players on the floor. Shout out to RSF 24 because he literally can have said it better. Like Tyronn Luke could definitely be trying to get everybody involved, but now it's definitely way harder because now other players are actually getting healthy. I'm glad that Tyronn Lue did not really play Justice Winslow, because Winslow, he's a good defender, but he does not really have too much offense. No disrespect to Winslow, but I mean that's just pretty much from what I've seen game to game. But again, let me know what do you think of what your opinions on this game. I mean, obviously, like there are definitely a lot of ways that the Clippers could have definitely win this game, but it was not necessarily like one of the worst losses. We literally kept fighting. We were make we were making shots. We were playing really good defense. It's just there are definitely some things that could definitely be fixed, in my opinion. Like especially in terms of rotations. But again, I know it's pretty uncomfortable that we kind of have we're like kind of like a swing, in my opinion. Like we will that we would win one and then we would kind of lose the next. But hopefully the Clippers could kind of have a spark, because I think the Clippers showed some like some flashes of that they could definitely make a run. Especially we kind of, if anything, we showed it today against the Knicks, because the Knicks are like a playoff team. Like let's be real, they're a playoff team. They're a really defensive minded team. They're like really team oriented. But like I said, just let me know what you think in the comments. Be sure to leave a comment, like, subscribe, or dislike if you disagree. And Clip Nation on the top again. Let's get it.